G'day, Dan Hunter here, and in this session on game design, we're actually going to look at prototyping some of our objects from the video game Frogger. So let's have a wee bit of a catch up. So we've played a version of Frogger, and in that I got you to identify the objects within the game. Once you've identified an object, you've got to then identify the behavior, what it does, also called encoding, methods, and attributes. Now for this little session, we're going to focus on two particular objects. The first object we're going to look at is the room, the game area in which the game is played. Every game has to have a game area, whether it be chess and the chessboard, whether it be noughts and crosses, a game of hide and seek, or the latest AAA video game. The next object we're going to look at is the frog, the player themselves. So when we're playing around with the objects, we need to identify attributes and behaviors. Now, in this session, I'm not going to look at all the attributes and behaviors, but I'm going to give you a little kickstart on where you can go. So let's start off with the room. Now, the first attribute that we want to look at is the width. Now, in this case, we're not giving the width a number of pixels to begin with. That'll come out, but what we want to do is actually look at how wide the original playing area is. And the easiest way to do this is to play the game and basically use the frog width as an example. So we can have the frog, you can see it appearing here in the bottom left hand corner. There's one frog. Another frog can go alongside, and we can continue to add frogs until we find out how many frogs sitting side by side would make up the width of the room. In this case, in this example, it's 14 frogs wide. For the height, you do the same thing. I'm not going to count them. You can do it, but I'll just give you a word of warning. Have you thought about the the height in terms of not just the playing area, but also the user interface? Okay, let's look at the frog. The frog has a number of attributes. The ones that I'm going to focus on this time around, this is not a complete list of attributes, but this is the ones we're going to play around with, is the width and height of the frog in terms of pixels, and the X and Y position of the frog, where the frog sits in the play area. Remember, in Gamemaker and other game making tools, the origin point, the naught X and naught Y coordinate, is often the top left hand column. The behavior or the method for the frog that we're going to solely focus on in this prototype is movement. Now, as a designer, we need to break down the movement a bit more. So we need to look at movement for moving the frog left, right, up, and down. Now, I asked you in your design documents to break down the methods, the behaviors into algorithms. So let's look a bit more at that. So when the frog moves up, as you can see in this diagram, it moves along the Y axis. Now, as we said, the origin point is the top left-hand corner. So that's 0 and 0. So an algorithm for moving the frog would be the Y coordinate, so where the frog is, equals its current Y, subtract the width of the frog, the height of the frog. Duh. Yeah, so you're moving the frog one frog position up. Down, well, I'll let you come up with that algorithm. I'm not going to give all the answers away. Now, also, if you're playing the game, you may notice that when the frog moves up, the score increases by a factor of, let's say, 10. So every time the frog moves up the screen, we're going to use the algorithm score equals score plus 10. Now, we could do it like that, but that leads us to a problem. And this is why I say play the game on paper first. There's nothing to stop the player spamming the score. So let's say the frog starts off in the safe position on the pavement at the bottom of the screen. They could jump up onto the road. Score equals score plus 10. So it's 10, you jump down, you go up again. Your score now equals 20. You jump down, you go up again, 30. So you can get a high score by just moving up and down and up and down and up and down. So we'll need an algorithm to cater for that. Again, not going to tell you what the algorithm is. You can figure that out yourself. It's quite simple. And if you're drawing from the other units, you've got this. Now, the other thing is when the frog moves down in the game, we also want to make sure that the frog is facing the right direction. So if the frog is moving up, it's facing upwards. If the frog is moving down, it's facing downwards. Now, you've encountered this before. It's in the Gamemaker tutorial. I don't want you looking at Frogger tutorials. I want you looking at the work that you've done previously. You can also use the Gamemaker help, but don't go on the internet and just do a search. Figure this out before. It was in the asteroids tutorial. Movement for left and right is very, very similar. The algorithms are similar, and also I want the frogs to be facing left and right. I'm not going to go into that much detail. I've got to give you something to do, hey? Now, so summing all of that up, we've got a number of tasks that I want you to do in prototyping the room and Frogger in this early stages. In Gamemaker, you need to create a new project called Frogger 001. Every time we make a major change to it, we're going to save it as Frogger 001 plus 1. So we're going to call it 2, 3, 4. Every time a major change, we're going to increment that number. I want you to create your room. I want you to create your frog sprite. So you might have to create your frog sprite first, figure out the width and height of that frog, and then set the width and height of your room accordingly. I want you to create your frog object, and I want you to make it move up, down, left, and right. I also want you to make the frog face the correct way. And I also want you to do a score. The reason why I've got a picture of Russia, specifically Moscow, is I'd say most of these are the game must have this. So perhaps could have face in the right way. So I'll give it as a stretch exercise, but this is within your entire scope. Once you've done that, what I want you to do is record your game actually working. You can talk about the algorithms, show me the algorithms, record it using Loom, and post the link on the classroom in the question area. Okay. I really look forward to seeing what you've done. This isn't an art class, so don't spend too much time drawing those frogs. I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.